Tell me about the best interview you've ever had.
Okay, well, I guess this is not a surprise to a lot of people, considering I am such a big fan of the 1975. Getting to sit
Yeah.
down with Matty Healy,
Oh, I was so
and
jealous of you that day.
dude, it's crazy. I mean, it
I was there
literally,
that day. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and it was such a good show. It was such
it
a good
was
show,
so good.
and there, leading up to that interview was also just as crazy, because finding out that yes, you're gonna get to interview the 1975, and yes, you're gonna get to watch them for free because you're interviewing the 1975. It's like, is this real life? But that day, you and I, we grew up like loving bands and
Yeah,
listening to bands,
yeah.
and in that whole fanboy fandom life. And I was the type back in high school when the main came here, Forever the Sickest Kids and
Mm.
Rocket to the Moon. I was at their hotel, waiting at the lobby with the rest of the fans, like, giving them stuff to sign. Like, on my wall, I have a signed $20 bill from Rocket to the Moon from like
Oh my
way, way back,
goodness.
because I had nothing else for them to sign other than a $20 bill my grandma gave me for Christmas. And they looked at me so weird, but that's how much I love bands and I get so
Yeah.
into it. So, of course, being an adult, I can't do that anymore because it's illegal. But but getting to interview Matty Healy just leading up to it is crazy, because I show up there, they tell me to go early, and I'm put into contact with some of the people who were in charge of kind of handling them and kind of where they were going, and to be part of those conversations, and for me to read the message saying, okay, Renzo, when you get to the venue, please go to the back entrance. We'll take you to the room where they're hanging out, and you'll get to interview them. And I'm just like, this is crazy. But leading up to it, they said that, okay, it's not going to be the whole band, it's just going to be George, and it's just going to be
Okay.
Ross. And I'm like, okay, that's totally
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not the type to pick a favorite member, but obviously, being a fan of the 1975, and just knowing that Maddie is a lot of like the creative force behind it, and
Yeah.
just Maddie being Maddie, you will want to talk to Maddie. But they told me that he wasn't feeling very well that day,
Yeah.
so it was totally cool. And honestly, that also kind of made me a bit less nervous for the interview, just because you
Okay,
know
that makes sense. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because I feel like talking to George or Ross or or Adam, it just would be a lot more chill than having to talk to Maddie. But this is me like pre meeting the 1975. Again, these are all
Yeah,
just like
yeah, yeah,
ignorant
yeah.
fanboy thoughts. But 5 minutes before the actual interview, their manager comes in and they're just like, okay, it's not going to be George or Ross. Like, Maddie decided that he wants to do the interview, so he's going to be coming in 5 minutes.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
goodness.
okay, interviewing Maddie. No big deal. No big deal. It's all good. And so he walks in. He's obviously not feeling very well, and he doesn't look like he's feeling very well, but he still gives you a smile. I, extend my hand to shake it, to shake his hand, but he pulls me in for a hug, and I'm like, is this real
Ah,
life? Like, if Matty Healy infects me, like, that's totally cool. Just thankfully, it wasn't anything serious, because it was
yeah,
like in
yeah.
December of 2019.
Oh, that's true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, sat down, and he was feeling sick, and you can watch the interview, it's on YouTube, but he still answered everything so eloquently and with detail, and he would react to my questions with such interest. And I felt that we connected on a very good level,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
overall it was just such a great experience. And then right after that interview, I was led through backstage out to the main audience area, got to see them perform live, no Rome opening. And yeah, I mean, what else could you ask for, right?
That was insane. I remember you were posting stories about it,
Mhm.
and I was on my way, or I was already at the venue when you were posting about it. And then I
Right.
was just like, I replied, I was like, yo, you got to talk to Matt.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
what was that like? And I remember you were telling me like he was sick. And you replied like after the show was done, right? You told me he
Yeah.
was sick. And I was just like, are you sure? Like, bro, that whole performance did not seem like he was sick.
Yeah. And I think that's also an example of performers, artists, stepping up to the plate and realizing that there's a job to be done. You could be sick out of your mind, you could be nervous, and you could be uh, getting stage fright like nobody's business. But if it's your turn and your time to get out there and perform, you get out there and perform. So it's a good kind of example of that. But, in terms of other favorite interviews, I mean, obviously the Maddie is the obvious one, but there are so many like great shows that I've had on air with local talent that
Mm.
they're just so much fun to talk to. I mean, every time One Click Straight's on the show, they're just like such a blast to have on.
Oh, they're so fun
Riesland
to talk
Silence
to.
also so fun to talk to. Ben and Ben, like we squeeze them into the booth like sardines, but they're talking and they're all interacting with each other. And even the smaller bands that don't get as much
Mm.
exposure, they walk in there and they're so ready to talk about their songs and to talk about why they do this, that it's just a blast and so much fun every single time. So I think it's easier for me to talk about interviews I don't like than it is for me to talk about interviews I do like, because generally I have so much fun with them.